There has been breaking news out of the NFL. Gronkowski officially retiring from the NFL via a Jordan Schultz report.
There was a lot of speculation in regards to what Rob Gronkowski was going to do next. Personally, I thought his situation was very unique, mainly because on one hand, it seemed like he was going to do what Tom Brady was going to do. But as time went on, it seemed like he was distancing himself more and more from football. So I'm going to bring you guys a whole update. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. And if you think we happen to talk too much, we make shorter versions of this content on my Instagram and my TikTok. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? This is going to be our first of 2 uploads today. We have a Deshaun Watson update coming to you guys a little bit later on today. So Rob Gronkowski is an individual that needs no introduction whatsoever. He is considered to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest tight end in NFL history. Now, I don't know if that's as a result of recency bias or not, but he is Tom Brady's #1 target of all time. And originally, he was retired following the 2018 season with the New England Patriots. Now, the reason why he retired was because the Patriots agreed to trade Rob Gronkowski to the Detroit Lions in the offseason, but the deal fell through because Gronk rather have retired than go to Detroit. So in 2019, Gronk would retire and say on his Instagram that he was not in a good place, football was bringing him down, he didn't like it, and he was losing his joy in life. Now, he could play now if he wanted to play, and he was feeling good at the time. Physically, I could do it. Mentally wise, desire wise, it's not there. I'm very satisfied with where I am in life right now, and I truly believe going through tough times 9 years on the field has brought him to the point where he should retire. But he would return 1 year later. When Tom Brady announced that he was joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Rob Gronkowski went along with him for the ride. And when he came back, he kind of reinvented himself a little bit, establishing himself even further as a run blocker and eventually getting to a position to help the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win yet another Super Bowl in the 2020 season. Now, after this past offseason where you saw Tom Brady retire and then unretire, originally what was thought was Rob Gronkowski was going to do whatever Tom Brady was going to do. He even flirted with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals for a little bit, contemplating whether or not he would join the Bengals. But ultimately, today we got some breaking news in regards to Rob Gronkowski as he has officially announced his retirement. Now, this is first coming to us via Jordan Schultz, who says, "Breaking, Rob Gronkowski tells me that he's retiring. The future first ballot Hall of Famer won 4 Super Bowls while earning a spot on the NFL's 100th anniversary team and the 2010s All-Decade team. An all-time great officially hangs him up at 33 years old." Now, I'm going to say something very similar as to what Tom Brady said before we get into Rob Gronkowski's official statement. And that's the fact that I don't think Gronk has anything left to prove. I mean, this is a man that has sustained a lot of injuries throughout his career. And when you get as banged up as Gronk gets and you have achieved what Rob Gronkowski has achieved, there comes a point where you contemplate if it's even worth playing football anymore. I mean, we're talking about a man that made $70 million throughout his career and is notorious for investing that money very well. This is a guy that hasn't spent any of his career earnings and has only spent his sponsorship money. And without a doubt, this is also an individual that can easily leverage his career into a career as a social media star or as someone that broadcasts or does analysis. Everyone loves Gronk, even if you happen to be in the same division as Gronk and he was a rival to you. Unless if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you might not forgive him for what he did to Tre'Davious White a couple of years ago, but a large majority of the NFL absolutely loves Rob Gronkowski, and after winning the Super Bowls that he did, I think this is very appropriate for him to do. Now, this is verified by Ian Rappaport, Ari Meirov, and Adam Schefter, who actually gives us some very interesting news on top of Gronk's retirement announcement. So let's get into this Instagram post really quickly, because this is what Gronk posted on IG. "In college, I was asked to write about a dream job opportunity that I wanted to pursue and where the location would be. Every time I had to write about my future, no matter what, I picked being a professional football player. For that assignment though, we had to pick the location. So I wrote that I wanted to play in Tampa for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for many reasons. The sunny weather being number one, and I completely forgot about writing this report until 2 years ago when I had the opportunity to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And let me tell you, the journey in Tampa over the last 2 years has blown away what I originally wrote about in college, big time. And for this, I wanted to thank the whole entire first-class Buccaneers organization for an amazing ride, trusting me to come back to play and help build a championship team. I will now be going back into my retirement home, walking away from football again with my head held high, knowing I gave it everything I had, good or bad, every time I stepped on the field. The friendships and relationships I have made will last forever, and I appreciate every single one of my teammates and coaches for giving everything they had as well. From retirement back to football and winning another championship, and now back to chilling out. Thank you to all Buccaneers fans, the crew. Without you guys, none of this is possible. All of you brought it every game. Thank you for all you do. Cheers to what's next, maybe sailing the seas, arg. Well, it sounds like Rob Gronkowski is done for good. There's some speculation that he's not done for good. And I don't know if that has to do with how old Rob Gronkowski is, because he is 33 years old, bear that in mind. And I don't necessarily look at a player's age when I determine whether they should retire or not. I look at their injury history, and I look at their achievements. And in Rob Gronkowski's case, man, this is a man that has gotten injured a lot throughout his career, so it makes a lot of sense for him to retire. Now, despite all this, Adam Schefter disagrees in regards to Rob Gronkowski officially retiring. As a matter of fact, he tweeted that in reaction to Rob Gronkowski's news, his agent Drew Rosenhaus texted that it would not surprise me if Tom Brady calls him during the season to come back and Rob Gronkowski answers the call. This is just my opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rob comes back during the season or next season. So there's multiple things you could take away from this. I mean, I don't think anyone would be surprised because, again, usually after you had a grueling season, a difficult season, yes, it's been a couple of months since the NFL season has officially ended, you might be thinking, okay, I need to take some time off. I need to take a year off. And in Rob Gronkowski's case, it makes a lot of sense for him to take 1 year off and then maybe come back next year. But the one thing that I don't understand is it seemed like Rob Gronkowski's future has always been heavily tied to Tom Brady. He said throughout his career that he only wants Tom Brady to be his quarterback. Yeah, he has flirted with the concept of joining the Cincinnati Bengals in the past, but I personally can't see anything that would cause Rob Gronkowski to come back unless if next year, once Tom Brady's contract runs out and he hits free agency once again, he leverages that into a situation where he could become the part owner of the Miami Dolphins, and as part of that agreement, maybe he's part owner and maybe he plays for a season for the Miami Dolphins. This is just a wild scenario. It's not even something that I think is going to happen. It could happen. Tom Brady's very interested in ownership after all, but I could see Gronk coming back if it's Tom Brady's last season, but first season for a brand new team. And of course, it's in Miami, so there's still sunny weather in Miami. And on top of that, Mike McDaniel seems like a cool guy. The Miami Dolphins have a very stacked roster, and a lot of things have to go a specific way for this wild scenario to play out. I mean, Tua has to fall beneath expectations, so it seems clear that the Miami Dolphins need a brand new quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to go right. I mean, Tom Brady's wife and family has to be okay with him playing another season despite him being 46 years old by then. And Tom Brady said repeatedly he only wants to play until the age of 45. I mean, wild scenario, but maybe in that scenario it happens. I honestly think this is kind of unfortunate for the Buccaneers because they have lost a lot of their weapons over the past year. I mean, you lost Antonio Brown at the tail end of last season. You nearly lost Tom Brady. You aren't bringing back Gronkowski'S, but at the same time, they made some cool acquisitions like Russell Gage. I think is going to succeed very much so with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe you see Cameron Brate step up now that Rob Gronkowski is gone. He actually had some fairly decent seasons for the Buccaneers a while ago. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're a Bucs fan. How do you feel about this? Do you think this is permanent or do you think this is just temporary? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.